There is one place in the galaxy that has more exclusive Star Wars stuff than anywhere else. Join us on the adventure.
Flight to Disney departing from gate R2-D2 shortly.
So recently, I was in Disney World with my wife, and I realized that I don't think there's a better place to find exclusive Star Wars items than there. They have so many things.
So if I want cool Star Wars stuff, I gotta get on a plane.
You gotta get on a plane and fly to Disney World. They have so many exclusives there. They actually have 4 stores dedicated just to Star Wars in Disney World. So this episode is going to be about Star Wars.
Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
We could just do the whole video on Brian saying it, but we'll spare you that. So if you like Star Wars, this is going to be the first of many videos. So just subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button. Comment what you like about Star Wars. We love hearing from you guys. I have this is from Disney. The warmest thing. I wear this every day almost. When
It's very funny that you bought the warmest item of clothing you have in Florida.
This is from California, actually. I was in California last year.
Yep.
So I go to Disney often.
Yeah.
So the first store that you would come across would be the oldest one, right after Star Tours, which is one of the older rides. Have you ever been on Star Tours?
The one and only time I was in the Disney,
Yeah.
I went on Star Tours.
How long ago was that?
1991.
Since 1991, I have been to Disney probably 8 or 9 times.
I've been to Disney once in my entire life.
So Brian's going to enjoy this video. He's going to watch this just like all you. So
yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Star Tours is the oldest ride there. It started in Disney World in 1989, I believe. Started in Disneyland in 87. And at the end of the Star Tours, there is a store, and the store has a lot of items. They
remember that store.
So much. It's the coolest thing is they have stuff for everyone. Like they have droids for kids, all different types of droids you can build. You can radio controlled. They have Boba Fett stuff. They have a bunch of Jedi items. They have stuffed animals for the kids. It's amazing how many different products they're still making for Star Wars, a movie that came out in 1977. I saw it that year when I was 5 years old. It changed my life. Star Wars came out, and from that day forward, all that I wanted to play with, all that I wanted to do was Star Wars related. When the toys came out, and we had to wait, so nowadays a movie comes out, and we get the toys for a movie. Before the movie comes out, you can get toys. Back in 1977, there were no toys for Star Wars until 6 or 7 months later. So if you wanted toys that Christmas, you had to order the early bird figures. There was 7 figures they would send you. I was in no place to do that, or my parents didn't do that for me, so I waited.
There's an excellent argument to be made that this entire collecting thing really begins with Star Wars.
I would agree that I
mean, there's stuff before it.
Mego.
Yes. There's Mego.
Mego
Yes.
was big before, and I collected a lot of Mego,
but not like Star Wars.
No, the amount of toys that come out
the
for
reach,
Star Wars,
and it's actually volume.
It's a good lead-in. The next store is in Disney Springs, which is the shopping area, and the store is called the Star Wars Trading Post, and they have a lot of vintage looking stuff. So they have retro stuff, and they had one figure there. They do these large figures of the old figures, so they make the figures look big, and it was Luke Skywalker in ceremonial gear. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that wasn't a figure. I couldn't buy that when I was a kid. So I was like, why are they making figures that should have existed but didn't exist? So in this store, they have, so much retro stuff. They even had a replica the Jarjik board, the board they play on.
Oh, the game
they play on.
Chess game.
I think it's called the Jarjik. They have the Jarjik board there. Pieces don't move, they don't fight, they don't flip each other over, but they have that. They have the entire wall of retro stuff. They have so many, cool stuff. I could have spent a fortune in there, to be honest with you.
You didn't?
Well, we'll see at the end of the video if I bought anything. Well, actually, there's also a new area. If Brian hasn't been there since 1991, he missed it. It's called Galaxy, and it actually looks just like you're on a Star Wars planet. So it's modeled after a planet called Batuu, and every aspect of it looks like you're in Star Wars. The bathrooms, there's a life-size Millennium Falcon you could go to. There's a life-size T-Wing fighter. There's a life-size X-Wing fighter, not X-Wing. And people go there dressed up. So you're walking around, it's like you're in Star Wars.
I'm not quite sure want to think about Star Wars bathrooms, but
No, it's a Star Wars bathroom. And they actually have a cantina, too. So you can go into the Star Wars cantina and get drinks in the Star Wars cantina. And in there, they have a market area which sells a bunch of different things. They have a bunch of Mandalorian stuff. They have some Boba Fett stuff. They have some pictures. You can buy art. Again, lots of stuffed animals, lots of toys. They cater towards the kids. So much. I mean, if you haven't been there yet and you're a Star Wars fan, I highly recommend going to Disney World just to experience Star Wars. And the rides, we're not even talking about the rides. They have 2 really good rides there. They have the Millennium Falcon ride. It's like you're piloting the Millennium Falcon. And they have a ride called Rise of the Resistance where you're fighting against the new Empire from the new movies. And it's awesome. It's like you're in it. And the amount of products there is ridiculous. The last store is also located at Disney Springs. This one is called the Star Wars Galactic Outpost. They have a really large selection of pins. There's actually a couple of retro-looking pins. They look like the action figures from when we were kids, and they had the same movement at the shoulders, at the shoulders and at the legs.
Yeah.
They have a ton of figures.
5 points of articulation.
Yes, 5 points of articulation. Neck, shoulder, hip.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of retro-looking figures. They have a lot of these PVC play sets. It comes with like 6 or 7 figures. So it's cool. I used to buy them.
Oh, I've seen those. They used to have them at the Disney store when there was a Disney store.
My daughter owned tons of them when she was little. And these
my son had the Cars one.
I wish that my daughter was little again. I would have bought her like 4 or 5 of these. They also have a lot of just other like really just cool clothing. You know, all the major characters, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. They have all the major characters. And then the one of the last places I went shopping was in the Disney Christmas store. They have a whole section of Star Wars Christmas items, which is, I mean, I could decorate a whole tree with Star Wars. They had so many ornaments.
No need for anything else.
You could decorate an entire tree with Star Wars ornaments. I did buy some things, so let's look at what I bought. Actually, at one point when we were there, my wife was accosted by stormtroopers.
Those bastards.
They actually made her show her ID. They wouldn't let her move. It was funny. It's very interactive. So if you haven't been there,
it's the oldest story. You go on vacation, you get hassled by fascists.
By the fascist stormtroopers. So
it checks out. That's disappointing.
I actually did buy some stuff when we were there. The whole point of it is to go there and enjoy yourself in the Star Wars universe, and I highly recommend it. But when I bought stuff, you have to think about what I like from Star Wars. So what I like may be different from what you like, and it's definitely different from what he likes. He knows what I like.
Oh, no.
So if you were really going to think of something that I would have bought there...
You didn't.
Oh, yes. I had to buy the Life Day Chewbacca. That's right. That's Chewbacca from the Star Wars Holiday Special, holding his orb. Okay. They had products from Star Wars.
Just in case anybody out there is unfamiliar with this, way back in 1978,
no, it was from 77. It was the same year as the movie came out.
Was it? Okay.
So they rushed it out really quick.
They did an absolutely horrible,
greatest
holiday special.
Ever.
It's an endurance test for Star Wars fans. It's a point of contention.
I love it. I make my kids watch it every Christmas
Which is
morning. And I have any product that has ever come out for this, I have bought it. And so these, last year I was in Disneyland, they sold out of these. They reissued them recently, so there we go. I bought my Chewbacca in his ceremonial Life Day robe.
And he's holding the orb.
And he's holding the orb.
But they didn't have a B. Arthur?
They didn't have a B. Arthur. But they did have the orb. So I also bought the orb.
It's completely ridiculous.
So there you go. I actually think it lights up. And it lights up.
Oh, look at that. Now
this is my Life Day. I celebrate Life Day every year. This is my Life Day orb. Yes, I bought 2 Life Day products. You want to know why I didn't buy all the other stuff from Life Day? Because I owned it already.
That's horrible. Do you know they mentioned Life Day in The Mandalorian?
I know.
For like the first episode.
It's becoming popular again.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Thank you. It's the Life Day. I bought the orb, and I bought that, and then the last thing I bought...
I want like a Harvey Korman multiple...
As I was talking about before, I really enjoyed the vintage-looking pins.
Yeah, those are
awesome.
So
I bought myself...
That's great. Is that a Death Star guard?
Death Star operator.
Oh, nice.
And it moves at the arms.
And it's articulated.
It's articulated. It's actually probably better articulated than the action figures were.
Very cool.
And this, I'll put it alongside an actual action figure. This is what it looks like. I thought it was, so they had a bunch of these. I should have bought all of them.
That's cool. I had that figure.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I love these figures. So I actually had a really good time in Disney.
That's incredible.
I highly recommend going there. I'm hoping Brian will go one of these days.
Maybe one of these days.
He'll go. He'll buy his life.
One of these life days.
One of these life days.
I'll go.
I bought a T-shirt about a month ago too. If you watch one of the previous episodes, I was wearing a Life Day T-shirt. No one said anything about it. But go back and look through all the stuff.
Probably didn't know what it was.
You'll see me wearing a T-shirt with Chewbacca dressed like that on it.
By the way, interestingly enough, talking about collector's items, finding copies of the Star Wars Holiday Special is in itself a collector's.
It's impossible.
They never put it on VHS.
It only aired once when it first aired,
and then Lucas wanted to bury it.
We're gonna do a whole episode on Life Day close to the holidays.
Around holidays.
That's right. So stay tuned. Smash that subscribe button. Stick with us, and remember, love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time.
Even if it's Life Day.
No, of course it should be Life Day. Collect Life Day. Bye bye.